past. What does reparation in the City of Providence look like to you?
Education, like a whole new landscape for our public schools, some type of funding for the students to go to college.
Helping black people get what white people were given so freely. And that has to do with home and land ownership. It has to do with assisting with education in a manner that we don't do today.
I see the devastating impact to the way of life for African Americans and American Indians here in Providence.
What culture am I? Providence. You know, we are products of our environment, but what comes down to is what are you gonna do with it? You know what I'm saying? Like, is the glass half full or is it half empty? Back in the 50s, the 60s, the East Side was the only place where blacks could live, period.
But when that construction took place, it took a lot from who we were. You've seen a big difference. You couldn't even get in any of those apartments. Those apartments were actually made to keep people mainly of color out.
95, that's a different effect on a larger scale. The industrialization, Allen's Ave, the port, and then 95 with so much exhaust, so many fumes. And you see the numbers run high for asthmatics in industrial areas. I'm definitely a product of that.
It's separated. It really caused people to, so it became taking homes by, an eminent domain, and we're gonna put a highway through our neighborhood.
They bought a lot of property over there in South Providence, right where Laco Plaza is. Then knocked down all that and advanced it, made parking lots, added on to the clinics and stuff.
They have houses here, but you can't afford the housing. They ask you for $2,000 a month. I can't afford that. The whole neighborhood has changed.
What did they have before the changes that they didn't have after? And that was that sense of community.
Many of the ills of our community are definitely a direct impact from it, and that's proven. The division and the structural divide that occurred during those times, the community changed as a whole. Ownership changed, property management changed, housing changed. It went from homeowners to renters.
It brought the black community down. Nothing was going on. That's why we had to start something going on in the community.
They just came in and decided that they want to take Lippin Street, Howell Street, Bay Street, Corain Street, and all that, Olney Street, but that street, cut them up, getting rid of them.
Being able to fight for people who are, just been beat up by the system, and for at least that specific moment in their life of energy and effort to undo, what was strong and vibrant, not too long before.
My father's description of it was it being by design, and as an adult I recognize more so what that means on trying to push out the black families, those who were not necessarily what the city wanted to see in that particular neighborhood.
And it was a shame to see that when Huntington Expressway came along, they wiped out all of those people of color.
It was very painful to be uprooted from where you lived most of your life, just to be thrown out of that neighborhood.
And try to be a supporter of those that are trying to do the right thing in the community.
And I think that was the motive. And I think that's still the motive. I think you still see it happening now. This is not past tense.
That should be the exemption. If you can prove that you were born on the east side, your family owned property there, and you were pushed out, that if you decide to come back and buy, that you will have the opportunity to have a reduced tax rate as an incentive for you to come back to the neighborhood that you were once part of.
Because you hear these things, like all of the black families used to live on the east side. Growing up, that just blew my mind, because all the black families over on the south side. But when I saw that picture of all of the houses that were in that Lippitt Hill neighborhood before, and then what it looked like after, it kind of clicked, like, wow, because it gotta be like at least 100, 200 houses in there. So if you add 5, 6 people per house, it's thousands of people that are over in that community.